Where empires collide, the dust of battle settles on civilization's fate. An ultimate, world-shaping clash begins. Against impregnable fortresses, a conqueror's will forged new land from the sea. Relentless ambition defied all odds. Beyond known horizons, a titan faced the East's raw power. A collision of steel and colossal beasts awaited. Yet, before the legends, a single man dared the impossible. Conquer the greatest empire known to humanity. For 10 relentless years, one man's ambition ignited the ancient world, reshaping nations from Aegean to Indus. Persia, a colossal empire, stretching across 3 continents. Limitless wealth, endless power, countless armies stood ready. Alexander, a young king, barely out of boyhood, driven by a thirst for glory and a destiny whispered. Darius III, great king, ruler of millions, heir to Cyrus. He faced an audacity beyond all imagination. One man, from a small kingdom, dared challenge the heart of the ancient world's mightiest superpower. 2 worlds stood poised on the brink of an epic collision, separated by cultures, power, and vast gulfs. But why? What drove this audacious invasion, this monumental clash that would echo through millennia? For Alexander, this was more than conquest. It was the ultimate gamble for immortality, forging his legend. For Darius, it was a fight for survival, defense of his ancient throne, and his empire's very soul. A 10-year odyssey of blood and iron. Thousands of miles, defying every logistical and military challenge imaginable. From searing deserts to icy mountain passes, the Macedonian army endured unimaginable hardships, pushing human limits. Witness meticulous preparations, strategic brilliance, and sheer human courage that fueled this unprecedented, epic campaign. Explore grand cities, legendary battles, and the profound cultural impact of Alexander's relentless eastward surge. Uncover tactical genius that outwitted colossal armies and unwavering resolve that broke seemingly unbreakable defenses. This is the definitive account of history's greatest military campaign, a testament to ambition, strategy, and sheer will. Join us for an immersive cinematic journey into a conflict that forever altered the course of human history. From the ashes of empire, a new world emerged, shaped by the enduring legacy of an extraordinary conqueror. Welcome to Ultimate Battle, Alexander's grand invasion of Persia. Prepare for a journey into the epic past. Across the Aegean, a new formidable power was stirring in the rugged lands of Macedon. A dynasty was rising. King Philip II, an astute leader, forged a disciplined army from a fragmented, often warring kingdom. His military reforms revolutionized ancient warfare, creating an unstoppable professional fighting machine. The Macedonian phalanx, with its impenetrable wall of pikes, became the envy and terror of Greece. Through diplomacy and conquest, Philip unified much of the Greek world, preparing for a greater destiny. Amidst this transformation, a prodigious heir emerged. Alexander, tutored by Aristotle himself, he absorbed knowledge, mastering tactics and philosophy, destined for an unparalleled military career. Even as a youth, Alexander displayed audacious courage, a charisma that inspired fierce loyalty. Philip recognized the fire in his son, grooming him not just for kingship, but for conquest. Then, tragedy struck. Philip fell, leaving a power vacuum and a kingdom poised on a precipice. From the ashes of his father's death, Alexander rose, crushing dissent with swift, brutal efficiency. Meanwhile, far to the east, the colossal Achaemenid Persian Empire held dominion over the known world. Its wealth was legendary, built upon centuries of conquest and unparalleled imperial grandeur. Mountains of treasure, vast cities, and a network of trade routes fueled its unimaginable opulence. Persia's military might was equally immense, comprising diverse forces from across its sprawling empire. Armies numbering hundreds of thousands, a testament to the great king's absolute power and reach. At its zenith, the great king Darius III ruled with absolute authority, revered as a deity. A complex administrative structure, the satrapies, ensured the empire's vast territories remained orderly. Efficient communication and infrastructure bound the disparate peoples and lands under one imperial will. Yet, beneath the grandeur, inherent tensions simmered, fueled by cultural clashes and regional ambitions. For centuries, a deep-seated rivalry had pitted Greek city-states against the encroaching Persian Empire. The memory of past invasions, the burning of Athens, lingered, a perpetual threat from the east. Alexander, imbued with his father's ambitions, saw himself as the avenger of Hellenic freedom. He inherited not just a throne but a unified army, forged for this very confrontation. Macedon's burgeoning power, coupled with Alexander's audacious spirit, set the stage for destiny. Persia, though vast, perhaps underestimated the ferocity and resolve of this young Macedonian king. Two titanic powers, one rising, one long established, were on an inevitable collision course. Alexander's vision was not merely defense, but an epic, ambitious conquest of the entire East. The inherent tensions, the old rivalries, would soon ignite into the grandest conflict. The world awaited, unaware that the greatest military campaign in history was about to begin. The ancient world held its breath. Philip II, architect of Macedonian power, lay dead, assassinated in the night. A new sun rose over Macedon. His name, Alexander. His claim to the throne, undisputed and swift. But power is rarely inherited without challenge. Doubts lingered among the old guard, testing his nascent authority. He quickly rallied his loyal army, forging an unbreakable bond through fierce speeches and shared ambition. From the northern frontiers, rebellions ignited. Alexander moved with lightning speed, crushing dissent mercilessly. Then came Thebes, a defiant flame of Greek independence, testing the young king's absolute resolve. The city fell, its destruction, a brutal, unforgettable lesson for all who dared to oppose Macedonian rule. Fear became his greatest ally. Across Greece, whispers of Thebes' fate silenced all further defiance. Athens, once a beacon of democracy, now bowed to the will of the Macedonian hegemon, acknowledging his power. With Greece pacified, his gaze drifted east. Not merely ambition, but a hunger for destiny beckoned. For centuries, the Persian Empire had cast its shadow over Greece, leaving a legacy of devastation and vengeance. The ghosts of Marathon and Thermopylae still haunted Greek memory. Alexander would answer their cries. Beyond revenge, a deeper yearning stirred. He sought a glory that would eclipse even the legends of old. To be the next Achilles, to carve his name into eternity. This was the raw ambition driving Alexander. Whispers of his divine lineage, nurtured by his mother, fueled a belief in his unparalleled destiny. Then there was the irresistible lure of wealth. Persia, a treasury of unimaginable riches, awaited conquest. Vast untapped resources, endless gold and silver, promised to secure his empire and fund his ambitions. He meticulously planned, consulting his most trusted generals. Their shared vision focused eastward. He united the fractured Greek states under a common banner, galvanizing them against the ancient enemy. One unified purpose, one formidable army, a destiny to be forged in the fires of foreign lands. The shipyards pulsed with frenetic energy. Galleys, supply ships, a massive armada was taking shape. Thousands of soldiers trained, honing their skills. Their iron discipline, a testament to Alexander's leadership. Logistics became paramount. Every supply, every ration, meticulously planned for the epic journey ahead. Parmenion, the seasoned veteran, offered counsel, his experience vital to Alexander's bold, audacious vision. The Hellespont, a narrow ribbon of water, became the focal point, the symbolic gateway to a new world. All was ready. The largest invasion force the Western world had ever seen stood poised at the precipice. A vast army assembled, their ranks stretching for miles along the European coastline, ready for history. Before the crossing, a solemn ritual. Alexander sought divine favor, an omen for his grand undertaking. As dawn broke, a new chapter of history beckoned. The strait glittered, mirroring the monumental task ahead. Alexander, poised on the edge of the known world, looked east. The greatest invasion in history was about to begin. Across the Hellespont, Alexander the Great launched an invasion that would forever redefine the ancient world. His audacious campaign began, not with negotiation, but with the thunderous march of an army hungry for glory. The young king's ambition was boundless, his gaze fixed on the sprawling, formidable Persian Empire. Their first great test awaited them, the treacherous banks of the Granicus River, a natural fortress. Here, Persian satraps and their formidable cavalry awaited, confident in the river's defensive power. Alexander, defying conventional wisdom, saw not an obstacle, but an opportunity for a decisive strike. With a defiant cry, Alexander ordered the impossible, a direct assault across the river's treacherous current. The first wave, his companions, plunged into the churning waters, facing a hail of Persian arrows. A brutal baptism of fire unfolded. Steel met steel in the river's deadly embrace. Men fought for every inch. Alexander fought in the thickest of battle, personally leading the charge, narrowly escaping death multiple times. Heroism shone brightly. His loyal general, Clytus, saved Alexander's life in a desperate, critical moment. As more Macedonians crossed, the phalanx established a foothold, their long spears beginning to overwhelm resistance. The Persian cavalry, once confident, now buckled under the sustained, aggressive pressure of Alexander's forces. Their strong defensive position turned into a trap. Persian lines fractured, then collapsed under the Macedonian fury. Granicus was a stunning victory, a brutal demonstration of Macedonian tactical superiority and sheer willpower. The psychological impact was immense. Persia's initial resistance had been shattered, their confidence severely wounded. With Granicus won, Alexander swiftly marched through Asia Minor, securing coastal cities and strategic strongholds. News of Granicus reached Darius III. He resolved to personally confront Alexander, gathering a colossal army. Darius moved to outflank Alexander, aiming to catch the Macedonians in a strategic choke point near Issus. Alexander, ever adaptable, quickly understood Darius's move, turning the Persian trap into his own advantage. Darius's army was immense, a glittering spectacle of imperial power, far outnumbering Alexander's forces. The battlefield at Issus was narrow, a vital detail that would negate Persia's overwhelming numerical advantage. Both titans now faced each other, their destinies intertwined on this constricted, fateful plain of Issus. The battle began with a volley of arrows, followed by the clash of vanguard units, escalating the tension. Alexander personally led his companions in a thunderous charge, shattering the Persian left wing with brutal force. The Macedonian phalanx advanced, an unstoppable tide of sarissas, driving deep into the heart of Darius's army. Darius's elaborate chariots proved useless on the terrain, his grand plans unraveling before his very eyes. The Macedonian advance was relentless, pushing ever closer to the very position of the great king himself. Alexander pressed towards Darius, a direct confrontation narrowly averted as the Persian king chose flight. Darius III, the great king, fled the field, abandoning his army and leaving an empire in shock. With their king's flight, the Persian army broke, a massive rout ensuing, hunted by the victorious Macedonians. Vast spoils were taken, but more importantly, the psychological blow to Persia was irreparable, their morale shattered. Granicus and Issus, two audacious victories that shattered Persian might, paving the way for Alexander's ultimate conquest. After Issus, Alexander made a strategic choice. He turned his gaze westward, towards the vital Mediterranean coast. Persian naval power, supplied from coastal cities, remained a threat. Securing the shore was paramount for ultimate victory. Leaving a powerful enemy navy at his back was unthinkable. Alexander resolved to eliminate every Persian stronghold. Next lay Tyre, the ancient Phoenician jewel. A formidable island fortress, it seemed utterly impregnable. With its colossal walls and strategic isolation, Tyre had never fallen. Its formidable defenses were legendary. Alexander demanded submission, offering peace. Tyre's proud citizens, confident in their defenses, scornfully refused. Tyre's defiance was an insult. They executed Alexander's envoys, a grave affront he would not forget. Enraged, Alexander swore to conquer Tyre. This would be more than a siege. It was a monumental test of will. To reach Tyre, Alexander conceived an audacious plan. Build a massive causeway across the half-mile strait. Thousands toiled, building a mole from rubble. The sea and Tyrian archers fiercely resisted their efforts. Tyrian triremes constantly attacked, showering the workers with projectiles. The siege became a desperate, daily struggle. Slowly, the mole pushed seaward, but near Tyre, water deepened, presenting a critical engineering challenge. In a devastating counterattack, Tyrian sent a massive fire ship, engulfing the mole's end in furious flames. Months of arduous labor perished in the inferno. Alexander's grand engineering feat seemed on the brink of failure. Undeterred, Alexander shifted tactics. He gathered a new fleet, demanding ships from newly conquered Phoenician cities. From across the eastern Mediterranean, allied fleets converged. Alexander was assembling a naval force of unprecedented scale. With over 200 warships, Alexander's navy now dominated the seas. Tyre's last advantage was utterly neutralized. A relentless blockade choked Tyre. No supplies, no reinforcements, no escape for the besieged citizens. Protected by his fleet, Alexander rebuilt the mole, now crowned with siege towers, towering above Tyre's walls. Heavy siege engines, both on land and sea, pounded Tyre's defenses relentlessly. The city began to crack. Macedonian ships, laden with marines, battered and breached the booms and chains protecting Tyre's harbors. After 7 grueling months, the final assault began. Macedonian warriors surged through breaches, seizing the walls. Inside, chaos reigned. Tyrian defenders, though brave, were no match for Alexander's seasoned, vengeful army. Tyre fell. The impregnable island fortress, after a siege of legendary brutality, was finally taken. The price of defiance was terrible. Thousands were massacred, tens of thousands enslaved, a brutal lesson for others. With Tyre subdued, Alexander continued south. Gaza, another defiant stronghold, briefly delayed his advance. Then, Egypt. The Persian satrap surrendered. Alexander marched into a land weary of foreign rule. Alexander was welcomed not as conqueror, but liberator. Egyptians saw him as a deliverer from Persian tyranny. The priests proclaimed him Pharaoh, son of Ra. Alexander embraced this sacred role. Respecting Egyptian traditions, he journeyed to the Oracle of Siwa, seeking divine affirmation. The oracle confirmed his divine lineage and destiny. On the Mediterranean coast, he founded Alexandria. It became a beacon of knowledge, a cornerstone of his empire. With Egypt secured, Alexander's western flank was impenetrable. His supply lines were safe, his empire solidified. The stage was set. With his rear secured, Alexander looked eastward, towards the vast Persian heartland. Here, on the plains of Gaugamela, 2 empires stood poised, an ultimate clash for global dominion. Darius III, desperate, assembled the greatest army Persia had ever seen, an overwhelming force of men and beasts. The great king sought to crush Alexander, ending the invasion and securing his ancient throne forever. Persia had prepared the ground, removing obstacles, creating a killing field for their dreaded scythed chariots. Against this overwhelming might, Alexander's hardened Macedonians marched, discipline and audacity their only shield. Alexander, ever the tactician, spent hours scouting, dissecting Darius's deployment, searching for weakness. The odds were impossible. A single tactical misstep meant utter annihilation for his entire army. As night fell, a profound silence descended, broken only by the whispers of fate on the eve of destruction. From the shadows, Alexander unveiled his audacious strategy, a gamble that defied all military convention. He would advance obliquely, drawing the Persian flank wide, creating a critical gap in their colossal formations. The companion cavalry, his elite, would lead the feint, a daring westward movement designed to entice Darius. The phalanx would hold the line, a resilient bulwark against the surging Persian hordes. defying all expectations. The sun rose, illuminating the vast plain where two civilizations would collide in an epic, world-changing confrontation. With a single command, Alexander initiated his masterpiece, committing everything to this one decisive moment. The Macedonian right wing began its slow, deliberate march, ever westward, tempting Darius to overextend his lines. Darius, fearing a complete envelopment, reacted precisely as Alexander predicted, stretching his cavalry dangerously. The Persian line stretched thin, desperately trying to match Alexander's unwavering westward movement, creating a critical weakness. Then, as if by design, a vast, tempting gap emerged in the Persian center, a strategic vacuum. Darius unleashed his elite, scythed chariots, a devastating torrent meant to break the Macedonian advance instantly. But Alexander's men were ready. They opened ranks, forming traps, turning the Persian advantage into a chaotic downfall. Pikes met steel, arrows rained down, and the mighty chariot charge splintered into a disorganized, bloody mess. Now, the moment arrived. Alexander, at the head of his companions, surged through the gaping Persian floor. Like a spear through flesh, Alexander plunged into the Persian heart, driving directly towards Darius's position. The Persian center, caught completely off guard, instantly began to buckle, then violently shatter under the pressure. Darius, witnessing Alexander's relentless charge, realized the battle was lost, his empire teetering on the edge. The great king, in a moment of utter desperation, turned his chariot and fled, abandoning his forces. With their king gone, the mighty Persian center broke, dissolving into a chaotic, unstoppable wave of pure terror. Yet, on the Macedonian left, Parmenian's phalanx fought desperately, facing overwhelming numbers, a brutal, savage struggle. Alexander faced a choice: pursue the fleeing Darius, or rescue Parmenian's beleaguered forces, a difficult decision. He chose his men. Alexander wheeled his cavalry, tearing through the retreating Persian flank, securing his left wing. The colossal Achaemenid army, once the world's greatest, shattered completely, its might broken beyond repair. Gaugamela, a name etched in blood, where Alexander's audacious brilliance secured an impossible world-altering victory. The Achaemenid Empire was broken. A new era, Hellenistic and unbound, had dawned under the shadow of Alexander's triumph. With Persia's heartland subdued, Alexander's ambition knew no bounds. His gaze turned eastward, towards the uncharted. Beyond the known world lay vast, mysterious lands, a formidable challenge to his relentless conquest. The path led into Central Asia, a realm of harsh steppes and resilient tribes, far from Greek lands. Leaving the ashes of Persepolis, a new, arduous chapter began, testing the limits of human endurance. The towering, unforgiving Zagros Mountains became the next formidable barrier, a labyrinth of rock and ice. Every step was a battle against nature itself, through treacherous passes and biting mountain winds. Supply lines stretched thin, a logistical nightmare, as the army pressed deeper into the desolate highlands. Local tribes, fierce and elusive, launched sudden attacks, turning every mountain path into a deadly trap. Fortified settlements clung to the cliffs, demanding brutal sieges and desperate, costly assaults from Alexander's men. The harsh climate, from scorching days to freezing nights, pushed his hardened veterans to their breaking point. Yet, Alexander's will remained unbroken. His relentless pursuit of glory propelled them ever onward. Rivers raged, impassable ravines loomed. Engineering marvels were built, defying nature's formidable obstacles. Legends of India, a land of immense wealth and fearsome warriors, now filled the minds of his weary men. Beyond the mountains, new landscapes unfolded. Exotic sights, yet more formidable challenges awaited in the east. The mighty Indus River marked the true gateway to India, a land vastly different from Persia. Here, powerful Indian kingdoms, unfamiliar armies, and legendary rulers like Porus stood in their path. King Porus, ruler of Pauravas, commanded a formidable force, including terrifying war elephants, a true marvel. On the far bank of the Hydaspes, Porus's host loomed, an unbroken line of cavalry, infantry, and beasts, crossing the monsoon-swollen river under Porus's watchful eye, presented an almost impossible strategic dilemma. Alexander conceived a brilliant deception, a covert upstream crossing under the cover of a stormy night. Under torrential rain and darkness, Alexander's vanguard slipped across, aiming to outflank Porus's main force. Dawn broke amidst chaos. Macedonian cavalry engaged Porus's scouting force. The battle for India had begun. The full might of Alexander's phalanx now solidified on the Indian soil, preparing for the true confrontation. Alexander, leading from the front, knew this would be his army's most desperate and brutal fight yet. Then came the charge, a thunderous wave of war elephants, a terrifying, unstoppable force of nature. The Macedonian phalanx, a wall of pikes, stood firm, a testament to discipline against brute power. Chaos erupted as the colossal beasts tore through the ranks, causing immense panic and devastating casualties. But Alexander's cavalry, ever swift, outmaneuvered Porus's wings, encircling his beleaguered forces. Macedonian archers targeted the elephant riders, turning the magnificent beasts into confused, rampaging engines of destruction. King Porus, a giant warrior, fought with legendary courage from atop his elephant, inspiring his remaining men. Alexander joined the melee, a whirlwind of steel, driving his men forward, pushing for decisive victory. The ground turned red with blood, a testament to the brutal, drawn-out struggle for supremacy on the Hydaspes. Victory was Alexander's, but at a terrible cost. The Hydaspes marked the farthest reach of his empire. Beyond the Indus, Alexander's relentless ambition drove his army ever deeper into the heart of India. Years of ceaseless conquest had taken their toll. Every battle, every march exacted a heavy price. The legendary phalanx, once invincible, now harbored a growing weariness within its battle-hardened ranks. Home was a distant memory. The promise of endless glory began to ring hollow against the endless horizon. Whispers of dissent grew louder. The men questioned the ultimate purpose of this seemingly endless campaign. Alexander's unwavering vision clashed with the tangible exhaustion of his loyal, yet now stretched, forces. At the Hyphasis River, the breaking point arrived. The veterans refused to take another step eastward. Fury erupted. Alexander pleaded, cajoled, and threatened, but their resolve remained unyielding. Their leaders spoke for them. The army was spent. They had reached the absolute limits of human endurance. Days of isolation followed. The conqueror faced a foe he could not defeat, the will of his own weary men. With a heavy heart, Alexander conceded. The dream of conquering the end of the world was finally abandoned. Relief surged through the ranks. The long journey home, though daunting, was now a tangible reality. The Great Retreat began, a return fraught with perils, a testament to the cost of unchecked ambition. Alexander chose a perilous route through the Gedrosian desert, a decision that would prove catastrophically costly. Thirst, famine, and exhaustion claimed thousands. The desert became a brutal graveyard for many Macedonians. Meanwhile, Nearchus commanded a naval expedition, charting unknown waters, facing equally treacherous challenges at sea. Survival became the sole objective. Alexander shared every hardship, forging an unbreakable bond with his suffering men. After months of unimaginable torment, the decimated army finally escaped the desert's deadly embrace, reaching Carmania. Back in Persia, Alexander faced a new war, restoring order. Corrupt satraps and rebellious governors were swiftly punished. His empire was immense, yet fragile. Managing this vast, disparate dominion required unparalleled political acumen and foresight. He sought to integrate cultures, forging new cities and a unified administrative structure across his vast realm. The strain of constant warfare, governance, and imperial ambition began to show its physical and mental toll. In the opulent heart of Babylon, Alexander grappled with the future of his empire, unaware of his own impending fate. Alexander's monumental conquests forged an empire of unprecedented scale, stretching across the known world. A new era dawned. The immediate consequence was staggering expansion, but ruling such a diverse, colossal realm presented unparalleled challenges. Alexander harbored visions of further conquest, of unifying East and West under his singular, unyielding will. Yet, even the greatest conqueror could not defy mortality. A sudden illness brought his indomitable reign to an end. In 323 BC, Alexander the Great died. His final words, "To the strongest," echoed through a stunned empire. Without a clear heir, the vast Macedonian Empire plunged into immediate violent succession struggles and bitter rivalries. The Wars of the Diadochi erupted, a bloody contest among Alexander's most powerful generals for control of his legacy. What began as a single, unified entity rapidly fractured into disparate claims, each vying for ultimate supremacy. Decades of relentless warfare and shifting alliances tore the once united empire apart, redrawing its very boundaries. From this turmoil, formidable new kingdoms emerged. Ptolemaic Egypt, ruled by Alexander's general, became a beacon. To the east, Seleucus carved out an immense empire, stretching from Asia Minor to India, the mighty Seleucid dynasty. In the Macedonian homeland, the Achaemenid dynasty solidified its grip, maintaining control over Greece and Macedon. By the 3rd century BC, Alexander's unified empire was irrevocably replaced by these powerful competing Hellenistic states. Beyond military fragmentation, Alexander's conquests ignited a profound cultural revolution, the Hellenistic Age. Greek culture, language, and ideas spread across the vast territories, intertwining with ancient Eastern traditions. Koine Greek became the lingua franca of trade, administration, and scholarship, uniting diverse peoples verbally. New cities like Alexandria and Antioch became melting pots, vibrant centers of commerce, learning, and cultural exchange. Art and architecture evolved, blending classical Greek forms with Eastern influences, creating stunning, expressive works. This era fostered unprecedented advancements in science, philosophy, and mathematics, driven by intellectual curiosity. The boundaries between East and West blurred, creating a truly globalized ancient world never before witnessed. Alexander's vision, though imperfectly realized, laid the groundwork for a new interconnectedness across continents. This Hellenistic world, with its complex political landscape and rich culture, set the stage for the rise of Rome. Alexander's enduring legacy wasn't just conquest, it was the birth of a vibrant new civilization, forever shaping humanity. For 10 relentless years, Alexander forged an empire. Now, we reflect on the ultimate battle, its echoes still resonating. His unparalleled military genius redefined warfare, a strategic mind unmatched, orchestrating triumphs across continents. From Hydaspes to Gaugamela, Alexander's tactical brilliance shattered formidable armies and conquered impossible odds. A decade of relentless campaigning, an empire stretching from Greece to the Indus, forged by sheer will. His army endured unimaginable hardships, pushing the boundaries of human endurance, driven by Alexander's unwavering vision. Alexander was undeniably a destroyer, his path marked by fallen cities and shattered civilizations across his wake. Great empires crumbled before him. The Persian age ended, its legacy irrevocably changed by Macedonian might. Yet, he was also a unifier, spreading Hellenic culture, forging new connections, and founding countless cities. His conquests facilitated an unprecedented cultural exchange, blending East and West, leaving an indelible intellectual mark. Millennia later, Alexander's shadow looms large. His strategies studied, his conquests still inspire awe and debate. This journey into history is brought to you by a leading analysis channel, your guide to epic narratives. If you enjoyed this grand saga, subscribe now for more unparalleled historical documentaries and analyses. Engage with us. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and share this story with fellow history enthusiasts. Join a leading analysis channel as we continue to unearth the past, revealing the stories that shaped our world.